Whenever you have to make a choice and you notice that your old self is trying to talk you out of the new habit, that thing, that big dream that supports, anything that supports your vision, your higher self, your higher thinking, so to speak. Perhaps it might be habits like waking up early, eating healthy, improve your fitness, being more vulnerable in relationships, committing to asking for more help and support, showing up daily to challenge old fears. Whatever this might be, you simply ask your higher self, your future self, for guidance. As in, what would she do? And she is the higher representation of your future self. Then, for me, the choice becomes easy because we move with a clear purpose. So use your future self as your northern star, as your compass to make aligned choices. This is a super powerful tool. Welcome to The Rise Show, a podcast for highly driven and spiritual women with big ideas, dreams, and visions. Audacious women just like you, who are committed to their evolution and obsessed about all things personal growth, spirituality, manifestation, and feminine embodiment. I'm your host, Nathalie Banaszak, feminine success and branding coach, and I'm here to support you on your journey and path of expansion. I know you're ready for so much more. Permission granted to go for greatness, your wildest desires, and the most radiant and full expression of the brand called you. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hello. Firstly, I'm so happy and excited to sit here and record this and have this conversation with you. And I'm so honored you're here with me. Out of all the podcasts out in the world, you are here. You choose to listen to this episode right now. How epic and wild is that? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Today, let's begin with a couple of big questions. How do people actually change, grow, and evolve? What is the process of personal transformation? How do you actually become the woman you most want to be? What is the ultimate way to manifest your dreams? Bam! Let's dive right in. In this episode, we'll talk about how you can become intentional with the power of your personal brand and use brand identity to transform and become the woman you dream of. This is intentional work and is a wild journey. I say work from a feminine perspective. We are talking about choice here, being dedicated, being devoted. We're talking about discipline, discipline. To be more attached to your limitless potential, your vision, and wildest desires, and what's true for you, rather than clinging to fear, current circumstances, old low-vibe stories that don't support you or where you want to go. That, my love, is not loving, neither to you or anyone on this planet. And it's not how queens live and lead. Let's talk about authentic brand building, embodied leadership, and feminine manifestation in a new context and in a way you perhaps never thought of it. We'll dive deep into the topic of identity creation, which is a core concept in my coaching, my mentoring, and academy. And we will talk about how to use the power of identity shifting as the number one way to manifest your dreams. So for you who are new around here, and if we have not yet met, I will give you a short introduction of my teachings and my coaching methodology to introduce today's topic even better. Over the years, I've developed a unique coaching method based on the principles of authentic personal branding as a leadership style, combined with intentional identity creation and the art and science of manifestation. Add on spirituality, femininity, and a holistic approach to personal transformation, and you get the Rise Success Method. The results are incredible. I'm in awe of witnessing my clients' transformations. So understanding the concept of identity is imperative here. And that is because whenever we say we want and desire something, it's always about who we need to become, who we need to be, to do, and have experienced that. And the bigger the goals, ideas, and dreams you have, the more you'll need to stretch yourself. This is how we all expand. Most people think of it in the opposite way, and it manifests as in, when I get the money, then I will feel free and happy. Then I will invest in myself or at my business. When I get that next degree, then I feel adequate and worthy to increase my prices or whatever it might be. When I have more time, then I will go ahead and do that thing that's been on my bucket list, well, like forever. There are endless variations of these stories, and they all have one thing in common, and that is that the mindset, energy of it, is an extremely disempowering way to live and lead life. We're always then waiting for something that needs to happen first before we take that next bold action. That potentially could be the thing that would change everything for us. So we outsource our infinite power to our current circumstances, and we become victims of whatever it is we feel it is that limits us and hold us back in life. In short, when we're forever waiting, we're not consciously creating. So we are now switching the formula from have, do, be to the opposite. This is the power formula for feminine manifestation. It's about who we choose to be today. Then we do, and then we have. This is also about personal energy management, knowing how to master your state, to be very, very aware of what kind of vibration and frequency you tend to live in on a daily basis. Yes, we get to choose happiness. Yes, we get to choose a grateful attitude. Yes, we get to choose abundance, wealth, love, and deep felt contribution right now. We get to learn how to use and leverage the power of our incredible mind to concentrate and intentionally focus on everything we do have, everything that does work, instead of dwelling in everything that we do not have yet, or criticize ourselves for, failures, quote unquote, of things that didn't play out in the way that we hoped for. So the vibration of feminine radiance and divine abundance, infinite intelligence, is not something that magical will happen the day you have gotten everything you think needs to be in place before you can actually experience those states of being. Now, this is key. Intentional identity creation, it is about choosing who you want to be and then go be her right now. It's about choosing a higher vibration and to operate on the frequency as the woman you created in your vision. You need to be an energetic fit to your goals. This is what embodiment is all about. We implement and integrate what we say we want, what we say we stand for and represent, and that's how we choose to show up in the world, living as our core values, over and over and over again. Whether you are showing up in the world ordering a latte from the barista or running to your boss at the gym, you act as who you declared you are. Let's take another concrete example, a limitation, which is very live in most people. Money, financial freedom, which equals, most often, I would say always, time freedom. And most of us have a very wounded relationship with time. It's never enough. We're always in a rush. And I choose money and time as examples because, quote unquote here, not having money and time are one of the biggest stories on earth, and one that seriously blocks us and keeps us stuck in an energy of lack, whether we realize it or not. To live in the energy of not enough and lack is a sure way to block your abundance and your manifestation powers. When you're energetically blocked, you are not in a state of allowing. You're not in a vibration of receivership because subconsciously, you're simply not allowing your good to find you. So knowing how to reprogram your mind and master your state, it is the ultimate self-love gift and self-empowerment tool. So let's expand on this example. Apply an attitude of gratitude and an abundance mentality to everything. It can be to know the energy or what it feels like when you do have what you desire. How it feels to walk into your dream house, or the emotions of pure joy and excitement when you sign that contract with your dream client, or whatever it is that you want and desire. This approach means that we have to drop any victimhood or poor me story of why this or that has not yet happened. We have to trust in divine timing and a higher plan than a limited one, and one we can witness and comprehend. This is also when we put ourselves in the driver's seat and decide to become conscious creators. We don't complain why this or that has not yet happened. We trust that there is a greater plan to the whole thing. Again, disclaimer, I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing here, pretending to be high vibe all the time. Being an empowered woman is all about allowing ourselves to feel all the emotions. It's a huge difference in dwelling in self-sabotaging, limiting thought patterns compared to dealing with sadness, grief, or allowing yourself to sit with uncomfortable feelings. Feeling is healing. Dwelling in false stories about who you are is not. Know the difference. This is super important. So as with everything, when it comes to personal growth and evolution, we need to start with radical self-awareness. There is always a next level of self-awareness, by the way. So it does not matter how much work you've done, how much we think we got this figured out. There are always layers to shed. And in order to do so, we need to be willing to be honest about our self-limiting beliefs and behaviors, examining your current self-image, and consciously dedicate yourself for a big cleanup. Whatever you find, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just stories that's been playing on repeat. The drama begins when you start to identify with the stories the mind has made up and make them mean something you perceive to be and judge as good or bad, okay or not okay. And we all have stories playing in our mind. However, we can turn the volume down. We can silence the inner critic, and we can choose to bring the unconscious to the conscious. The more we can normalize talking about this, the bigger the healing world will experience. My whole podcast, this podcast, is a huge part of that. My message, I want us to normalize talking about these things, you know? So who do you need to be before you do, so that you can do and have all the things you desire? This is the most amazing thing. By doing and being this work, you'll get to know that you get to be whoever you choose to right now. Because it's about embodying a specific state of being that matches the vibration of what you want. That's what I literally mean when I tell my clients, step into your vision now. And when we work together, that's exactly what you get to do. You can do this by yourself, coaching yourself into that place of being. So in order to answer your callings and live out your purpose in the grandest ways, whatever that means to you, you need to commit to becoming the woman of your dreams. Energetically, that's where we start. You literally need to become #her. And that starts with making a conscious choice to own your energy today. And be honest where you tend to hang out the most. That naturally translates into a purification and declutter process of unbecoming everything you are not. letting go of everything that doesn't serve you or where you want to go. So you can see that this is the big work. This is also why I say, and I tell my clients this all the time, we can go way deeper and we can do this work together. So you will then be able to find and explore internal blocks you did not even know were holding you back. So if there's something you currently don't have that you desire, you need to be willing to accept that there is a part of you that's holding on to a mental pattern, a mental addiction, probably, that's causing your external conditions / your results. And most often, this is what lies buried deep into our subconscious. Now we're getting closer to the root cause of conditioning that we all have to some degree. Again, this is not good or bad. It just is. And in short, what brought you here won't take you to the next level if you say that that's where you want to go. Now, personally, I'm constantly taking myself and Nathalie to places she has never been before, because I know that's required for my higher vision. It's a way of living. It's about being curious about what's possible. So what about you? People, habits, situations, environments, and behaviors you've outgrown. All of this takes intentional effort. And the journey is definitely not always comfortable at all. Transformation is not for the faint-hearted. It takes bold courage to leave the safe, the familiar, and take a leap of faith into that unknown and a reality that we actually don't know it. However, it is limitless. It's about leaping into the unknown. So our nervous system is wired to believe that the old, the familiar, is what's going to keep us safe. And that's the only thing it's concerned about when it comes to survival. So it's mega important that you allow all the support you need so that you can feel nourished, held, and backed up in this process, not only by yourself, but by others too, and the universe as a whole. So you need to be so much bigger than the old stories. You need to cultivate deep self-love, self-respect, self-compassion, and an unwavering faith and trust in you, in the universe, in God, in higher power. Whatever your faith might be, you pick your word. Making a conscious choice to not let the past define you, but to let your vision and your future fuel you and guide you forward, and to make empowered and aligned choices today so that you can create what's right for you. Not everyone else, but you. So let's take this further. How does your future self think, feel, act, and behave? What kind of thoughts dominate her inner world? You bet she has an empowering, loving, kind, and positive self-dialogue. She doesn't dwell in mean and judgmental stories about not being good enough, not being worthy of this or that. She doesn't abandon her bigger dreams or any of the things she declared she's going to do. She stands up and speaks up for her truth. She cultivates the habits that make her feel fantastic, because she knows that when she's operating at her highest, she naturally becomes a beacon and a feminine force of love and light for others too. Her family, friends, community, loved ones, those she's here to serve, support, and help. She behaves authentically, and alignment is her priority, meaning she leads her life, career, and business as her core beliefs. Her actions are embodiments of her. Now, I'm just giving you suggestions coming from my personal experience and from the work that I do with my clients. So let's get curious about who your future self is. We keep on going. What does she wear? Who does she hang out with? And what kind of conversations is she involved with? Where does she live? How does her home look like? What does she eat? How does she move her body? How does she take care of herself? What are her non-negotiable habits? How does she present and hold herself when someone asks her what she do? What's her vocabulary? What's her signature personal style, fashion? Self-expression. We can go so deep here, and I could keep on going forever. But I want you to understand where we are going here. We are intentionally creating an identity that's aligned with your higher self, the woman you dream of becoming. Not a limited version of you that stays limited because of any stories from the past of who you used to be. The past is part of your story, and that's beautiful. It gets to inform your future, but never let it define you or what's possible for you. So when I speak about authentic personal branding, that can be purely a more strategic methodology we apply to your business, your career, and your leadership style. As a strategy, yes. However, know that you, from a holistic perspective, you get to rebrand you whenever you feel you've outgrown your old self. I've done this multiple times. This is when we're pivoting. This is when we're growing. This is when we're expanding. So this might simply be when you feel that who you used to be doesn't fit where you are now, and more importantly, where you want to go. There is a time where we get to decide and say that we want to reinvent ourselves, our lives, and our businesses. Now, this is reinvention. Authentic personal branding and being a conscious creator always starts with knowing who you truly are. And you must know your higher vision from the inside in, the inside out, and the opposite. Knowing what you want. And I mean that as in, what do you really, really desire? Most people, I would say, don't know how to boldly answer that question in a crystal clear way. I know this firsthand because I've been one of them, thinking way too small. And this is also coming from someone who back then thought she totally knew her big dreams. I see this pattern with people and my clients all the time. Even when we think we have like a really huge mindset, we're always capable of more. Because in fact, we are limitless beings. So I ask a simple but very profound and powerful question. Again, what do you truly desire? And your reply might be different today than it was yesterday. That's what growth is all about. So if the answers, most often I found them to be quite vague, such as, I want more time, money, freedom, and then it stops. Well, how much time do you need? What do you want your ideal day to look like when it comes to work, life, play, all that? How much money do you want? What's your number? Well, lots. You want to do here. You need to get specific about it all. Think higher of yourself. Connecting your thinking mind, which is your conscious mind, with your feeling mind, which is your subconscious. Now, this is the fundamentals for manifestation. And how would that future self you then feel? Details? I want details. That's because God, the universe, again, you pick your word, needs details. I know if you and I would sit down one-on-one and I would ask you about your vision, we start with creating this crystal clear picture of your dreams and your future self. This is your vision. So what I typically do with my clients is that I help them to expand their mind and heart and think way bigger. This is most often about a permission slip, allowing ourselves to dream bigger and not hold ourselves back because we get too involved with, how could that even happen? When it seems like we are just way too far away from that thing now. So we block ourselves by drawing a picture of our future that we believe to be realistic. Hint, there is not much room for magic to be found in logic and being realistic. No. We are just expanding to the realm of the miraculous here. And that's truly what visioneering and identity creation is all about. So if you don't have a crystal clear vision, it will be very difficult to set up goals that align with where you want to go. getting to the emotional state of being, the energy that represents all the emotions you decide to feel, be, and live in. So you are becoming a vibrational match to your desires. That's what the law of attraction and identity shifting is all about. It's about closing the gap between where you're at and where you want to be now in your being. You need to get on the same frequency as your goals, which ultimately is about rewiring your whole system, starting with what you choose to think, because as you know, your thoughts become things. They fuel your emotions, which fuels the actions you take or do not take. And this ultimately becomes your reality day by day, minute by minute. So be conscious about who you choose to be. Seriously, leveling up your inner self-talk. Start to seek life and loving greatness into yourself. Acknowledge your radiance daily. Again, this is consciously keeping high vibration takes work, dedication, devotion. It's cultivating a new habit of being. So you can be intentional about it. And this is why it's so effectful and masterful to use the formula for brand identity. In this case, the identity of the brand called you. So it's not about creating a fake you at all. It is the opposite. It's about embracing and letting all of you come forth in the spotlight, turning your light all the way up, actively shaping your reality by firstly becoming aware of your thoughts, emotions, intentions, and aligning them with your desires. It's about recognizing that your consciousness isn't just, about being a passive observer, but an active force that influences your experiences. It involves taking intentional and aligned actions based on your goals and desires, rather than just passively accepting whatever comes your way. So let's see if we can sum up this whole episode. Becoming the woman of your dreams through intentionally blending branding principles with identity creation, the feminine way. Well, that means that you're actively shaping and expressing your sense of self as who you truly are. You stop outsourcing your power and you reclaim it by elevating your consciousness. This means we need to challenge traditional norms and embrace personal core values and desires. It definitely involves exploring what identity means to you, developing an empowering self-image, making conscious choices about who you choose to be, and how that align with how you present yourself to the world, from a place of authenticity and radical alignment of your vision. This is your future self. So you can imagine how comprehensive this work is. It's also fun. It's exciting, it's expansive, and I promise you, it is an adventure unlike anything else. It also becomes the ultimate leadership style for any woman who wants to lead empowered. So whenever you have to make a choice and you notice that your old self is trying to talk you out of the new habit, that thing, that big dream that supports, anything that supports your vision, your higher self, your higher thinking, so to speak. Perhaps it might be habits like waking up early, eating healthy, improve your fitness, being more vulnerable in relationships, committing to asking for more help and support, showing up daily to challenge old fears. Whatever this might be, you simply ask your higher self, your future self, for guidance. As in, what would she do? And she is the higher representation of your future self. Then, for me, the choice becomes easy because we move with a clear purpose. So use your future self as your northern star, as your compass to make aligned choices. This is a super powerful tool. Your inner guidance system becomes a way to live and lead your life. What to do, where to go, what to say and to whom. And it assures you that you move forward in your life, your career, your business, and, in alignment. Ultimately, your future self and your choice of identity is who you need to become, who you need to be today, if you truly want to accept your calling to play bigger, in your life, career, and business. And I assume that's exactly why you're here with me right now. So my invitation to you is to get curious about who you are and your highest potential. What's beyond the old stories that's been holding you back? And again, remember, we all have them. They're not good or bad. Is this a matter of choosing how we want to relate to our internal world? Because this is where we need to start if we want to be the source, rather than giving our power away to current circumstances, challenges, other people's opinions, old conditioning that's running the show inside of us. So, to repeat, the power formula is be, do, have, not the opposite. So who do you need to be to live out your purpose in the grandest way possibly? Again, whatever your playing bigger dream might be, personally and professionally, our life, career, business, brand, our relationships, everything is intelligently interconnected as we are all operating on frequencies. So the sooner we can accept our greatness and the sooner we reclaim our innate power and get really intentional about our vibration and build on an identity that feels aligned with our truth, that's when things will begin to flow as you step by step move into and live as the frequency of your future self. And this is not only about the outcome. It's about allowing the process of becoming more full of who you truly are. Becoming more full of yourself as you upgrade your identity. Remember that your evolution is about abundance and overflow, and most importantly, love. It's about remembering that you were born whole, complete, enough, and radiant. So my invitation to you is to choose to remember, choose to know yourself more, and to be conscious about it. And not to forget to enjoy the process. So final question for you to reflect on. What could be possible for you to create? Who do you need to be to grow the life, career, business, everything you desire? Wow, I'd love to learn more about this. If you have not already downloaded my guide and workbook, please do so. You can find the information. The link is in the show notes, and it is a fantastic guide, a 10-step guide that will help you to get clarity on your brand identity. And you can use this for business purposes, for leadership style purposes, or to really become very intentional with your future self and the identity of the woman of your dreams. That's it for today. And my promise, if you fully embrace this work, it will change everything around for you. Thanks for being here with me today. If you loved this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. That way you get updates anytime I post a new episode. And if you're feeling extra generous, go ahead and share this with a sister you know needs to hear this message and leave a review. It would mean so much, as I love to envision a world with more feminine, embodied leaders. If you're looking to further grow, evolve, and expand your life and business, connect with me on Instagram and sign up for my Rise newsletter. Get ready to receive special announcements, inspiration, high vibe self-empowerment, tips, hacks, and tools on how to become the woman you most want to be right into your inbox. Link in the show notes. Until next time, have a gorgeous week.